Okay, so we all know that cooking rice is not that hard, but sometimes it ends up in a complete mess. Soggy or too sticky or completely separated grain by grain. Well, in today's video I'm gonna show you my idea about the perfectly cooked rice. Oh yeah, and I'm talking about regular white rice this time. 3 ways of cooking rice, and I'm gonna share the perfect one and the perfect method with you, so make sure to stay with me until the end of the video. Let's roll! Alright, so I start with rinsing the rice, and as I said, make it 3 ways for you, and I'm gonna make the winner again without rinsing it. And then I can tell you which one is the best, just to be as accurate as possible. Rinsing the rice is a must according to a part of people, but it's not always necessary. When you wash the rice, you remove some of the leftover pieces of the hull and a good amount of starch as well. Therefore, the rice is not gonna be as sticky as it would be without rinsing. That's the theory. So if you make a risotto or any rice dish which needs to be glutinous, saucy or sticky, you should avoid rinsing the rice. Easy. But here I am, and now I want to make sure the rinsing water is clear, so I change the water a couple times. Then drain the rice. Just keep in mind that my recipe calls for a size of 1 cup of rice and 2 cups of water or smaller, but larger amounts may take a few extra minutes of cooking. So the first one is going to be the college people's favorite. I make it in the microwave. So pay attention to use a microwave-proof bowl, nothing metal. The procedure is going to be the same every time. I measure 1 part of rice, then 2 parts of water, and season it with only salt, nothing else. So I give a quick stir to it, and then I put a lid on, or just a plate on a bowl this time, and I cook it at medium heat for 15 minutes. Just make sure to give the rice enough time and do not rush it with cooking it at high heat, otherwise it may boil over in the microwave. Some patience, and that's it. I give a stir to the cooked rice after each one of these experiments to make it as fluffy as possible. Well, sometimes it's not possible. But let's jump to the second one. This one is well-known old school way to cook the rice. So I do the same thing, 1 part of rice, 2 parts of water, a pinch of salt, then bring it to a light simmer and continue to cook it on low heat with the lid on for 10 minutes. Once I was done with that, I just turned off the gas and leave it on the stove for an additional 10 minutes in the steam. Yeah, with the lid on. So once again, positively do not remove the lid at this point, because the rice still needs to soften and suck up some leftover cooking water in the steamy environment you just created inside the pot. After 10 minutes, it's ready to serve. The third way is also super easy and has a little twist, so let's do that. What I like to do is the same thing again, so I add 1 part of rice and 2 parts of water with a pinch of salt into a heat-proof pot. Then bring the whole thing to a light simmer, give it a little stir, put the lid on, then place it in the oven preheated at 360 Fahrenheit or 182 Celsius. Cook the rice in the oven for 12 minutes, then just turn up the gas and let it rest with the lid on the stove again for 5 minutes. And here you go. Alright, so here's the deal. I got my cooked rices over here and they look like similar for the first sight. But let's go a little bit deeper than this. So here is the microwave one. And as you could see before, it was tough. I had a hard time to make it look like this. It's not fluffy at all, it sticks together inseparably, the edges are crispy, and the texture is almost as bad as the instant rices. Talking about the taste, this one is nowhere close to the nice one. It's chewy, thanks God I still have my teeth. So this is what I like to call an absolute failure. So let's jump to the second one, maybe that's better. This one is the regular cooked rice I made in a pot on a stove. It's already better than the microwave one. It has a nice bite, a fluffy texture, somewhere it falls apart, somewhere it sticks together, but lightly, not like the previous one. The taste is good, but it has a little bit weird mushiness when you chew it, despite the fact that this one is definitely not overcooked. And here comes the third one I made in the oven. It has almost the same character than the regular one, fluffy and soft, it has a nice bite and a little bit more moist than the other one. Okay, the oven cooked and the regular one is good, but has some differences. If you ask me, it's a hard choice, but I prefer this one because it's just a little bit sticky and nice fluffy. It's also soft, but definitely not overcooked, just like a perfect al dente pasta cooked for a minute longer. So I got my winner and I share my thoughts with you, but as I said before, I'm looking for the perfect one, so there is one more experiment to go. So I make the same exact cooked rice in the oven with the same amount of ingredients and cook for the same time, but this time I skip the first step so I do not rinse the rice. Check it out. So here we are ready for the final test. Here you can see the original one and here is the unrinsed one. I do not see any differences between the two for the first sight. The texture looks the same as well, fluffy, soft, breakable, but at some points it sticks together, so let's check out the taste. And here is something I noticed for first try, and it surprised me. The thing that the unrinsed one is much drier than the regular one. Small difference, but it makes sense, and I tell you, I would definitely go with this one. It's a little bit sticky but not mushy, fluffy and al dente-like, softish, nice and moist. But hey, why don't you give it a try and leave me a comment down below how it turned out? You won't regret.